Hi, Pastor Gary here with a recap of Sunday's message from Luke's Gospel, chapter 7. Now, we covered the whole chapter on Sunday, so I'm not going to try to take and hit all the highlights. I just want to talk about one section that referenced John the Baptist. We see in verse 18 that John the Baptist sent two disciples of his to Jesus Christ to ask him a very important question. He said, Jesus, are you the one? Are you the one that we're waiting for? Or should we look for somebody else? You see, John's condition at that particular point in time is he was in prison. John was in prison, and we see just not too far away from losing his head for the cause. John had seen Jesus. He had baptized him in the Jordan River. He had seen the Spirit of God descend on Christ in bodily form, and he'd heard the Father say, "This is my Son." John said, if you're the one and I'm following you, then what's with the plan? You see, John also knew what the plan was supposed to be. In his mind, Messiah was to come. Jesus was the one who was going to take and overthrow Rome and reestablish Israel as the lead nation in all the world under the authority of God. There was going to be a military insurrection. Jesus was to call those to arms and to raise a military and to be this great Messiah, this great deliverer, one who was going to come and establish and make everything right. All John had heard of Jesus Christ was he was speaking peace, he was speaking love, and John was concerned that maybe the plan was not going right. Oh, his concerns were not only, I'm sure, for the larger, but for the personal, because he himself was looking to be liberated from the physical prison in which he was in. But folks, as we read on, we see that Jesus' response to John sent back the disciples telling them, just tell John what you see. You see that the blind are receiving sight, that the deaf are hearing, the lame are walking, lepers are being cleansed, the dead are being raised. These all being prophecy of what the Messiah would do, the place and the role that the Messiah would play in the world. And these were the signs and the indicators that would point to him. He said, go tell John those things. And the indication here was that John, the plan is going just perfectly. Oh, we realize that John didn't necessarily think so. His circumstances were hard, and because they were hard and because he was looking for something different in Christ as his deliverer, that he didn't necessarily see that the plan was going right. Folks, we do the same things in our life. So often we equate that if things are hard in life, that something's wrong. If things are going hard, if they're difficult, if it's not the way that we think that it should be going, somehow or another, Christ is not doing it right. Christ, are you the one? Or am I trusting in the one that is really supposed to deliver me, really supposed to do that in my life, which makes things right? Or do I look for another? But folks, understand that Jesus himself identified that John was doing exactly the right thing. He went on in that same chapter and talked about how John was the greatest prophet ever born among women. But yet he also said that even those with just the smallest amount of faith, even those who were least in the kingdom, were going to be greater than John. So it's not a matter of understanding that good equals right, or that hard equals wrong when it comes to what's going on in our life. Just because something is easy, just because something is good, doesn't mean that it's the right thing for us. But even more so, just because something is difficult or something is hard, or that the circumstances we find ourselves in, or life itself is hard, even to the point of it maybe costing us our lives, doesn't mean that it's wrong. It doesn't mean that Jesus is not the one that is in control. So folks, as we move through and as we look at the circumstances of life, don't get hung up on trying to think that somehow if it's easy, things are going great with God. If it's hard, oh my goodness, something must be wrong. Jesus, are you with me? Are you not with me? He's with us always. Christ told us that he's never going to leave us. He's never going to forsake us. Regardless, the circumstances we are in, no matter how hard, are for his glory. And he is going to see us through. He'll never give us more than we can handle. And he'll always walk us through the other side, even if that means coming to the place of seeing him face to face. Have a great week. We hope to see you soon at Calvary Chapel, Dayton Valley. If you'd like to listen to the whole message, it's up online, ccdayton.org. And feel free to just come in and talk to us anytime. We'd love to see you there. God bless you. Have a great week.